of 2020, the funding and partnerships were in place to enroll a new phase of agriculture-based learning in the Archer cluster. The plan was to put an aquaponics system in every school in the cluster and to connect the standards in a cross-curricular manner through the lens of agriculture. 30 teachers representing grades K through 12 agreed to team up over the summer to learn the systems, develop content, and then implement it across the cluster that fall. Suddenly confronted by the challenges of the pandemic, the Archer cluster team kept moving forward. Teachers learned about aquaponics through customized virtual workshops. They teamed up to develop content, and despite the looming possibility of empty classrooms, the systems were delivered.
The pandemic obviously made things difficult for educators and everyone. We're all familiar with that. But it wouldn't make sense for us to slow down with this project, and this not just a project. I mean, this was a vision that's turned into a reality. Knowing that this program was in place and having so many external partners, so many business partners and community partners, university partners, to help continue lighting that fire, really gave us something positive to look forward to.
When our systems were delivered during the summer, our first thought was, okay, how are we going to do this in the fall when we did not know if we were going to be virtual or in person or what? So we just did it. We just looked at our lessons that each grade level wrote for this, and we just talked about how can we do it in person, how can we do it virtual. Our fifth graders, when they came in here for their aquaponics lesson, towards one of the first ones that we did, they brought their computers and we Zoomed with the kids at home live. We're using this and we're comparing it with our tower gardens and our steam gardens with some of the first graders. So it's such a great pilot program. We weren't gonna let it just sit here. So we just made it a point. So
the most surprising thing that I've learned was that the fish poop can actually help the plants, because the bad bacteria gets turned into good bacteria, and then that bacteria gets flowed into the plant water, and then the plant roots suck it all up.
Teaching kids problem-solving skills through aquaponics and hydroponics and composting and through the AgSTEM lens in general is not only going to expose them to this type of technology, food production and so forth, but also it'll prepare them for what's to come and equip them with problem-solving skills they're going to need to address our needs in the future. So I think it would just be a lost opportunity if we don't engage our kids in this way.
Fish and other animals, when they release their feces, when they poop, they release ammonia, and that is something that is part of the nitrogen cycle. And within the nitrogen cycle, if there's too much nitrogen in the air, that can be, in the environment in general, that can be very bad for us humans to breathe in and constantly have. So by using the nitrogen and ammonia produced from the fish and using it to help plants grow, it just recycles everything and makes our environment better for us and for all of the plants and animals in nature.
Through this class, I have learned ways that we have negatively affected the environment and how we can change our processes in the future to better help the environment.
Pastor Rainwater of Grace New Hope Church introduced even more resources, including a neglected greenhouse and aquaponics system and space near a community garden on the church grounds. With the help of Gwinnett Master Gardener Beth Arechiga, the cluster students will soon be growing plenty of food to share.
All right, so the farmers market, as you can see, will be here. We have a pavilion here, then we have a building here that we will use for our farmers market. The clusters will be 3 elementary schools, Cooper, Lovin, and Harbins, and the middle school, which is McConnell, then Archer High School, of course. Well, we just had a 2,100 square foot greenhouse installed at Archer, so we are going to do that. We're going to be growing plants there. The greenhouse here will be managed by all the schools. All the schools will be working on it. We haven't decided what we're going to grow yet, but that's what we'll get all of our plants and vegetables. So, and the goal would be for our business kids and our marketing kids to be, I guess you can kind of say, our general manager of our farmers market and run a student-led organization. So.
Early one Saturday morning in late February, educators, parents, and community partners met to begin cleaning out the unused greenhouse and restore the commercial-sized aquaponics system. The growing channels were cleaned out, floors swept, and space made for a 1,000-gallon fish tank.
Hey, man. How's it going? Good.
Justin Ballinger is an Archer parent and an associate professor at Mercer University's STEM Education Innovation Lab. With funding from the Gwinnett Soil and Water Conservation District, he, along with professors from 2 other universities, play a key role in supporting teachers in the AgSTEM program.
We've been working with the Archer cluster over the past year, and there are a ton of different technologies that we are looking to integrate into the classroom space. Starting last summer, we integrated aquaponics systems along with environmental sensors, and these sensors are open source so that students can learn scratch coding in order to manipulate data and to be able to design research projects. Moving ahead, we're going to be looking at integrating robots. So the high school just received a FarmBot that's a programmable robot that can be used to conduct different experiments, and they'll actually be collaborating with scientists from NASA Ames Lab and the Kennedy Space Center on some plant science and engineering experiments over the summer that's going to integrate those technologies. In addition to that, they'll be looking ahead into environmental science and using high altitude balloons that are tethered to take some photographs of the topography in this area and to make some connections to some of the environmental issues that we see in this area of the Chattahoochee Basin.
I'm the music teacher at Lovin Elementary. We've sung about turnips, and we actually have a part of our STEAM garden that we have a musical outdoor play area. Our 4th graders built a giant harp. They built pitch pipes. We have a xylophone. And we're working on expanding that. So our kids can go outside, be in the garden, and also be experiencing science and music and all the ways that it ties together.
How do you feel about going to a school that has gardens, chickens, and fish?
Weird. It's kind of weird, but it's fun.
This is Heather Kane. She is one of our 5th grade teachers, and she's also our 5th grade representative from Lovin Elementary that's on our STEM horizontal team. And all of our members on our STEM horizontal team, we have members from kindergarten through 5th grade. We have middle school and the high school from every school in our cluster, and they are so important because they are the ones who spread the passion for STEM and AgSTEM throughout their grade levels and their schools. So they're fantastic.
It's like everybody just wants to do it, and there's nobody who's like, oh, this is just another thing to check off. Like, this is what we want to do. So I found it super easy to collaborate with everybody. This is one of the best clusters I've ever been in.
High school is planning to build an aquaponics system outside of the school. It's going to be a very large system with lots of fish and more bioballs and more plants to help our school help the environment. And it does this by repeating the same process that the smaller aquaponics system we have here at AHS does. It is just on a larger scale and will help produce more plants in a more eco-friendly manner.
Aquaponics have taught me a lot to understand more the nitrate cycle, or the nitrogen cycles, and all the cycles used to really just keep plants growing and life going.
We're going to come to the community, and the church is going to become a part of it, the community is going to become a part of it, and then everything we do will culminate with the farmers market, and all of the schools will be involved in that. And so I think, you know, that's my driving force. We're going to end the year on a good note because of that.
Secret sauce for the cluster, it's really just the commitment, conversations between the principals, have really sparked. And then having great people like Garen and Eric, telling us things that we can do to really benefit our education for our students, that's been instrumental. So we just all committed and said, this is something that we want to be a signature program for our students starting as young as 5 until they get to high school and they are doing AgSTEM and engineering. So yeah, it's just been fabulous.
As a community partner, I know firsthand how the cluster's receptiveness to new ideas and new approaches to learning makes supporting these teachers exciting. Partnerships are a way for the community to begin to understand how incredible teachers are, despite some pretty daunting challenges. And it's inspiring for us to see students respond with so much interest and enthusiasm for learning. As Pastor Rainwater at Grace New Hope Church once put it, Archer is a network of fish tanks, chicken coops, sustainable vegetable gardens, and most of all, hope.
How do you feel about going to a school that has gardens, chickens, and fish?
It's weird, but at the same time, it's very cool and fun. Good, because, well, I really like to be in nature, and chickens are like on a farm, and they lay eggs, and we have eggs, and that just feels good.